I rise to fully support this resolution before us as we honor the life of Reverend Dr. William M. Connor, OBE. Mr. Speaker, I rise not only as the proud parliamentary representative from St. Christopher III, where Dr. William Connor hails and where his life work is a beacon within the village community, but I also stand here as someone who have had many summers at the Antioch Baptist Church Vacation Bible School. As a matter of fact, if you grew up in the village, spent time in the village, especially in the summertime, there was no getting away from Vacation Bible School. Absolutely not. Every morning, you must be dressed and ready for Vacation Bible School at 9 a.m. And Mr. Speaker, I could recall my cousins and I at many occasions trying to wiggle ourselves out of having to go to Vacation Bible School. And we were always reminded that when our parents and our aunts and uncles were younger, it was as if they had no choice but to go to Vacation Bible School or Sunday school. They could recall the days of Sunday school in particular, when Pastor Connor and our brother Connor, as he was affectionately known, would come around the community with his PA system strapped on to the church vehicle, announcing to all mothers, make sure those children come to Sunday school. As a matter of fact, I can remember my grandmother saying doesn't matter where she was, she would hear Miss Byron, make sure them boys come up there this afternoon. Or Miss Walters, make sure them boys find themselves in Sunday school this afternoon. And it was the same for Vacation Bible School. Brother Connor was a giant of a man, a giant in stature and a giant in personality. And so everyone from the village community saw him as a figure that they looked up to, someone who created an atmosphere within the village that brought people together. He looked out for the people of the community. He cared about the people of the community. And you would have heard him say or speak to the reason why he would have started the Sunday school, because, and he would describe it as a way for him to be able to serve the underprivileged, unwanted, despised, neglected, and downtrodden children of the village. It was his passion, Mr. Speaker. That passion that still lives on today at the Antioch Baptist Church. That passion that still lives on today at the Mount Carmel Baptist Church. That passion that still lives on today at the Calvary Baptist Church. He started a mission, a ministry, at a time when it was not heard of. You don't start a new church. Nobody's supposed to do that. We already have our established churches. Just join one, and he was part of one in the Anglican Church. As we would have heard, he served for 19 years as a sexton at the Anglican Church. But he felt that there was so much more that he could give. There was so much more that could be said about the gospel, and there was a stronger way in which he would be able to deliver the message and the gospel. And having learned about the Baptist ministry, having seen it for himself, having attended a Baptist church when he traveled overseas, he decided that was it. Baptist. That is what he wanted to be associated with, and he believed strongly that the Baptist church was what was needed in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so from there he came back and he started the Baptist church along with the other members of the Wycliffe Crusaders. And so his legacy continues today, Mr. Speaker. It started with a Sunday school of some 13 children, known then as the St. Johnson Sunday School. It grew to be so much more. Starting with only 13 children, but then somehow it expanded to 6 classes, known as the beginners, the primary, the juniors, the intermediates, the seniors, and adults. So whereas it was just children at one point, he made sure he covered everyone across the spectrum, just so that he would be able to spread and teach the Word of God. Mr. Speaker, he was committed, and he did not care about the detractors and the many voices and naysayers who told him he couldn't, you can't, you shouldn't. Even when met with adversity trying to start this new Baptist ministry, he would always comment and say, I will do my duty as I see it and leave the rest to God. And I believe that that is something that all of us could learn from. Do my duty as I see it and leave the rest to God. Mr. Speaker, that as I said before, there is so much that we can learn from this giant of a man. And so much he has offered. A legacy that carries from generation to generation. He was fearless in his pursuit of spreading the word. He moved as God would have led him, starting the Sunday school, Wycliffe Crusaders, the Baptist movement, Antioch Baptist Church, Mount Carmel Baptist Church, Calvary Baptist Churches, the bus ministry, Vacation Bible School, and there's so much more we can speak about of what he's done and how he have impacted the lives of persons, not only in the village community, but far and wide. I mean, look at Antioch Baptist Church today. What started as a village church is now, in my opinion, a federation's church. Look at it today. His legacy continues. And so it is more than fitting for us to stand here on what would have been his 100th birthday to honor this giant of a man, to honor his legacy. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
May I rise to lend my voice in support of the resolution. Clearly, it has been brought here by the government, which is indicative of the strong support which the government has for the long meritorious work of Brother Pastor Connor, a genuine patriot who rose from humble beginnings to inspire and to lead persons to higher heights, and in a real sense has been able to transform not only the village community, but to transform the country of St. Kitts and Nevis through his hard work and devotion to doing the Lord's work. The member for St. Christopher III spoke of the legacy in terms of the number of churches which he founded across the length and breadth of St. Kitts, including the Mount Carmel, which is often described as the constituency number 7 church. Mount Carmel itself had done its own Sunday school program, a tabernacle, next or opposite the Jeffreys residence. And I'm sure our beautiful clerk who is here would have some recollection of those days when Sunday school was there. And indeed, a number of persons from Tabernacle would move on to become leaders in the church at Mount Carmel in Burial. So his work has touched thousands of persons across the country. His humility, his strength, his persona are all things which persons refer to as they speak to his legacy. I want to say that we are all proud of that work, proud of that kind of leadership. And in fact, he has ensured the continuity of his church by the way in which he had organized it. He has left, and we now have Pastor Lincoln leading the church with as much zest and commitment to ensure that the church continues to impact and that he follows as much as he can the example of Pastor Connor before him. I want to commend the church because the church under Lincoln Connor had put on a number of commemorative activities to highlight his outstanding contribution as they mark the 100th anniversary. So I would want Pastor Connor to know that we carry love and support for the elderly, now deceased Connor, and the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis are deeply appreciative of his long and meritorious contribution to the country, not only in the spiritual realm, but clearly, as you have heard from some of the presentation, or at least from the member for number 3, he was a person who attempted to satisfy and service as many of the felt needs of the people, a pioneer in his own right, and an outstanding citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. We pay honor to him.
To lend our full support to this resolution. Although much would have been said about Pastor Connor, I think it is fitting that I bring brief remarks as well. Knowing in my view, looking at him, he is a hero. I had the opportunity of attending his Sunday school under the coconut tree with Miss Jeffers and the others in those times growing up. Anybody who having Sunday school, we had to attend just about all of them. So sometimes a Sunday, you end up in 3 or 4 Sunday schools. I'm extremely grateful for that foundation. I liked that Sunday school because on a number of occasions you always got something to eat after. And this is a ministry that Pastor Connor had, and the Antioch Baptist, and I believe the Baptist movement, still continued, where once you are in need, you can go to that church and you can be guaranteed of something to eat, if not food packages already put together, a little change that you can buy your groceries. And this is indeed a ministry called of God. The Vocation Bible Schools, as the honorable member spoke about, they were the leading vocation Bible schools, a school at the time in St. Kitts. And each year you'll see a contingent of persons from the various Baptist churches overseas coming to St. Kitts and investing, checking your eyes, giving persons who are in need of glasses the opportunity to get a pair of glasses. and the list go on, assisting with construction of homes, whatever they had to do while they're on their mission. And I just want to congratulate the Antioch Baptists and the Baptist family on a whole on this special occasion as they celebrate the hero, as I would dub it at this time. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
My profound gratitude for my own personal development, recalling that Brother Connor did come to my village of St. Paul's when I was but a boy. He came with people like Brother Penny, Brother now Pastor Mills, and of course Pastor Dr. Calvin Hazel. And it is from there the Calvary Baptist Church was established as was outlined in the resolution. I want to use this opportunity, of course, to indicate that he made a solid social and Christian and spiritual contribution in the development of the village of St. Paul's and Newton Grau, because membership was drawn from these two communities in particular. I salute all the pastors of that church today, especially Pastor Dr. Lincoln Connor and all the other associate pastors and members who have stood with this church in its quest to bring spiritual guidance and teach Christian principles to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.